Alright, so I've got all the foam glued down and I'm just figuring out where everything is going to go and everything is going to land. You can see I've got the bridges, the track work, the buildings, an idea of the scenic divide, which will be foam mountains. I want to put in a tunnel portal here with a tunnel continuing on until about here, and then it'll go straight into that MTH bridge all the way across the main line, which will be down here. Then we have the secondary bridge, which will go under that, and the bridge leads to a mine, and then it'll go underneath to a secondary bridge, a secondary mainline bridge who a friend of mine built up here in Milwaukee for me. And I haven't decided exactly where this track's gonna land. Obviously it's not square right now, but I'm gonna try to center it under both bridges a little bit and get it to land under that bridge without going straight down the middle, otherwise it'll go under one of the pilings. But I'm gonna have a lot of texture to this layout. That's the plan anyways, to have a good mountain range, a couple of trestles, a river. The river is going to go right between the mountains on the right and the lower main line. Later on, I plan on adding to this, obviously, so that I can run it like a big twisted dog bone. That's the idea. If anything, the lower line will be for displaying models while I run stuff up on top. As you can see, it's just a big loop right now. That's all it is intended to be. The mine's more for just some visual interest, and this is just for running and testing stuff as I buy it and to have something to do at my new apartment in April. Over here I've got a small engine facility. I still need to get a coaling tower, which will probably be somewhere either over here or between the station and the water tower, so that way I can get into an engine that's facing either direction. Although most of my stuff I want to say is oil burner. I've already got the oil stand, but we'll see what happens. I haven't decided if this is going to be a specific era or if I want to make this more of a railroad museum, and that way I can run anything whenever. But I kind of want to keep it non-specific to a location or an era, so I can do either or. But I do kind of want to dedicate this layout to my my dog who has passed this past Monday. We had to put him down, and he was my best friend of 12 years, or it would have been 12 years March 5th. And we really miss him. And I kind of want to dedicate this, actually I really want to dedicate this layout to him. This is going to be hopefully the last layout for a while. I know I've gone in and out of a lot of stuff. This is really the third layout on this tabletop, and I kind of want to make this the last. I really want to make this one count. I really miss him. His name was Foxer. He was a Shiba Inu Beagle mix, and he was the best thing that ever happened to our family. But I really want to make this work here with an express station, so I can have my REA reefers and boxcars, the regular station for passenger, a little engine servicing facility. I'm not going to put in a stall just because most of my locomotives wouldn't fit. Most of my locomotives will take up that entire stretch of track. My electrics, my big steam, the stuff I really want to run once in a while and just let it run, that's going to be what's operating on here. All my switchers will go down to the club regularly, and they'll get used mostly in the ore yard. I've got 102 ore cars, which obviously I'm only going to put a dozen on here, but it'll be Milwaukee Road Northern Pacific to kind of keep with the Northwest theme. That's the plan anyways. And here you can get a little idea of my collection. This is just some of the stuff. I don't have much of my steam in here. I don't have much of my passenger diesel. I've got 7 Broadway Limited E units. I've got 2 Broadway steamers up top. The one to the right is the early QSI. The one to the left on the top shelf is the latest Paragon 2 210-2, the modernized. Again to the right, that's the 210-4, the early version. With this ES44 DC, those 2 engines to the right, I got from my father when things were tight for Christmas as a kid, and those are probably the two models that are dearest to my heart. That and my little Joe. So you don't see that in here because it's in one of the bins that were over there that we're going to the club to operate. But I have a lot of stuff in here that has a lot of meaning to me. So there's those two that are dear to my heart. There's a Switch my girlfriend bought me that won't be going anywhere. Anything that was a gift is really precious to me, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. So, but I've got several models in there I want to be able to run in this layout regularly, especially the bigger electrics. You can see the Y1 chassis over here. I'm working on remotoring that with DCC. The Z1 here, I want to be able to run that around. That's all stuff that is going to be tested on this layout to make sure it works properly before anything is finalized. So after I get everything signed up here, you can see I'm making little marks on the layout with a ballpoint ink pen that leaves a lot of ink, so I don't have to use a magic marker because I just don't like using it for some reason. I don't want to get it on the ballast and all of a sudden I can't take it off. I can just put it on the foam, it sticks well, I can wash it off if I need to. You can see I marked over here as well for this bridge where that's going to sit so it's centered, and that little piece of track. And I haven't done my final landings for the mountains and stuff, but you can get an idea of what I want to do. Let me know what you think. I'm really interested to get more input. This is the first time I've done any work with foam. I've got a lot of touch-ups to do, especially with these outcroppings in here from the foam. I've got a lot of ideas for stuff I want to do for this layout. I've got a lot of pictures, a lot of thoughts, a lot of notes. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to get to the carving tonight, but I'll hopefully get to it this weekend, if not later this next week. There's outcroppings, there's portals and all kinds of stuff for me to buy at my hobby shop. I'm really looking forward to getting and incorporating on this layout. Really the key focus for this layout is the Northwest with Milwaukee Road, electrics, and big steam. And obviously I've got some Santa Fe. That's where my heart really lies. It was the first stuff I really collected was Santa Fe, and Milwaukee Road's always been the deepest in my heart. It's just in the last few years that's where all the models have been coming from and made available by is Milwaukee Road. Finally they're making the stuff I want, so I'm getting it. So that's where this is for. You won't see my Chippewa or my Hiawatha running through here. You'll see the Olympians with the Erie builds, the C-liners, the E-units, stuff, and the electric stuff like that you'll see around here, and some of the switchers, but that's for the most part it. There's not going to be a whole lot of switching. It's just scenic and to look good and to keep me busy at the apartment. So from there, that's it. Next time, hopefully I'll have either some more details figured out and some foam carved. Once I start cutting out the riverbed and where everything else is gonna go, I'll have some more foam to put up on the corners. I want to add a lot of texture to this. I don't want it to be dull. I don't want it to be flat. I want to have lots of rolling hills, mountains, a lot of picturesque scenes. I want it to be very photogenic, so that's what I'm shooting for. There's going to be a lot of detail in here, down to ATV trails, 4x4 trails for trucks, animal trails, critters everywhere, people everywhere, hiking, biking, off-roading, whatever. And I'm really looking forward to it. So I still haven't quite decided how I'm going to land this section, because this isn't landing exactly the way I intended. Because later on, this corner will become a straight and a straight with a 90-degree crossover right here to continue on with this section on the lower level, so it'll be one big continuous loop. So that's why I need to be careful how I land this. I need to make sure that's at 90 degrees or further this way towards us, so that way I don't have to worry about anything later on. So that's why this is going to be tricky. This is going to be more than 2 feet wide coming off of here, obviously. It's probably going to be 2.5 or 3 feet. And this will be a straight coming back a little ways, I'm sure. But we'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, any feedback is helpful. Any ideas, stuff like that. I'm always taking ideas in. In case I didn't mention it in the last video, here's the stuff I used to glue it together. PL Proline 300 foam board by Loctite. Don't buy the cheapest, I don't even know where it went. Don't buy the cheapest caulk gun. I bought one for $5 at Menards and it works like crap. I had to borrow my dad's old piece of junk that's got crap all over the bottom and the front end of it. And it works beautifully, so I didn't even know we had that thing. But there it is for now. Hopefully in the next week or two, depending on what's going on, we'll get some more progress and these layers will start to take more shape. So all the heights are worked out, all the maths are worked out. The track for the main line is where it's going to be. I have to outline it with the pen on both sides so I know exactly where to drill holes for power pickups and such. And we'll go from there. So until next time, happy model railroading.